All right, the biggest trade of the deadline has happened. I don't remember if this happened yesterday or today, but I know that this is absolutely huge. I mean, it's the biggest trade yet. Probably the biggest trade there will be, unless some of the big names like Robert or Crochet still get moved, if Scooble still gets moved, or any of the, massive names that are still in the market. But this was a three-way trade between the Chicago White Sox, the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Los Angeles Dodgers. So the first player going over to St. Louis from Chicago is right-handed pitcher Erick Fedde. If you've never heard of Erick Fedde, I wouldn't be surprised. In years past, he's always been a bad pitcher. He's been never good in his career. And then he basically was cut or left during 2022. Then during 2023 went over to Korea. Then proceeded to go absolutely nuts over in Korea. And now he's back over in America, absolutely dicing up hitters. He's been fantastic, and he's a huge addition to that Cardinals senior citizen rotation. It is a huge, huge piece. It's going to be fantastic. There's a lot of players to look at right now, so let's take a look at his StatCast real quickly. As you can see, 3.11 ERA. That'll probably play up once he goes to a good team. 121 and 2/3 innings, 108 strikeouts. Doesn't strike out as much as you want, but still good. 1.14 whip, that's great. Pitched 21 games so far, that's great. Pitching run value is one of the highest in the leagues. His fastball's amazing. Breaking stuff is great. Off speed's not the best, but he doesn't need it when his other two are great. I'm not really going to go over these. They're all around average except for chase, which is low, and then extension is good. And then if you go down, his arsenal, 31% cutter, 30% sinker, 20% sweeper, 19% changeup, and then 2 4 seams. I'm guessing those are just misreads on the gun. So he doesn't really throw anything that doesn't move. So yeah, he's the first piece going over to St. Louis. And yeah, he's a fantastic pitcher. I wouldn't doubt if he pitches even better once he goes to the Cardinals. Alright, let's take a look at the second piece going over to St. Louis. We have Tommy Pham. And you've probably heard of Tommy Pham before. He's been around the block. He's been everywhere you can really go. He's 36 years old, right-handed bat. In his 11th season, he came back to the White Sox from, I believe, free agency. He's got about a year. He's still on that, I think, 1-year deal. 266 average, 330 on base, 380 slugs, 710 OPS, 72 hits, 5 homers, 6 stolen bases, 33 runs scored. So overall, a great little player. 73 percentile in batting run value, not great base runner, bad fielder. Expected batting average is a lot higher, so if hitting 284, he could be. Expected WOBA, ex-WOBA, average exit velocity, he's really mostly red. The stuff that isn't red, it's around league average. Yeah, not a good fielder at all, like I said. Good arm still. So yeah, he's a good little player. Headed over to St. Louis, they got a good haul. I believe Tommy Pham's been there before, I'm not sure. He's been everywhere, I'd have to think, but yeah. Now let's take a look at what the Dodgers got. So the first player the Dodgers got is they got Tommy Edman, who is a switch hitting shortstop. He can also play second, can play third, he can play a little bit of the outfield. Great swing. As you can see, he hasn't played this year. This is 2023 percentiles in his 2023 spray chart. He's got some really high red, but some not as good stats either. Never really been a fantastic hitter. Been a career like 700 OPS. He'll bop 10 homers a game, hit around 260. He's not a bad player at all. He's a good little utility guy. He's rumored to go to the Yankees. And I think that was the only team that I've heard rumors with him in. Solid enough base runner. Great fielder. Like I said, mid-bat. A lot of this is blue. Round average, expected batting average. The great parts of his game: doesn't strike out, doesn't whiff a whole ton, does chase around league average amount, fantastic range, average arm, very fast. Whenever he's a switch hitter, he usually just pulls to whatever side he's hitting from. Yeah, his playoff experience, he played decently well in the 2021 wildcard game. So yeah, he's a good little player. He'll help out the Dodgers, who could use a lot. I mean, he can play the outfield, he can play the infield. Alright, so the next player that the Dodgers got is Michael Kopech. You've probably heard of Michael Kopech. He pitches every time you turn on a White Sox game. It's probably Michael Kopech pitching. He's 28 years old. I think he has one more year of ARB. And he's had some decent seasons, but these past two he's kind of struggled a decent bit. But if you look at his stats, he looks like he'll project well in a place like the Los Angeles Dodgers, because, you know, going to a winner can help a lot of guys. I feel like it'll help Kopech. He was a first-round pick back in 2014. So far this season, he's 2-8, 4.74 ERA, 43 games, so been out of the bullpen. 43 and 2/3 innings, 59 strikeouts, and a 1.35 WHIP. Looking at his StatCast, around average pitching run, fastball run, not as good breaking run, around average off-speed stuff. Fastball's really, really fast. Expected batting average against him is not good. Expected ERA is 3.9, so he's underperforming. Gets a lot of whiffs, strikes out a lot of guys, gets a good extension. Doesn't get enough ground balls, hit pretty hard, walks way too many guys. Guys catch barrels against him. He only has 3 pitches, so if he wants to go into the rotation, probably have to develop a fourth. 79% four-seam, 10.5% cutter, and 10.2% slider. So not bad at all. He's a good piece going over. And yeah, he's going to be good. I feel like the Dodgers got a decent haul here. And then the final player they got was Oliver Gonzalez, who is, I think it was the Dodgers that got Oliver Gonzalez. 18 years old. He's been whatever in the minor leagues, 4.22 ERA. But like I said, only 18. He will develop, and don't really know what they got out of him. 4 starts, 3 games out of the pen. We'll have to wait and see what they get out of a guy like him. So yeah. So now let's take a look at what Chicago got. So the first player Chicago got, Miguel Vargas, little major league utility player, listed as a left fielder, can do a lot more than that. As you can see on his StatCast, he hasn't played enough, but not great. Bunch of blue, but he doesn't chase, he doesn't whiff, he walks a decent amount, doesn't strike out a whole ton. Got a good arm, and he's above average sprint speed wise. Not a great hitter. I mean, he hasn't really developed that part of his game. He hasn't even really had a full season's worth of at-bats yet, though. I feel like it's going to be a big struggle for him in Chicago. He'll probably be DFA'd at some point. I feel like he could be useful on a good team, but I just don't feel like it's a good fit in Chicago. He's a decent enough little ball player. This year, 239 average, 313 on base, 423 slugs, 736 OPS, 3 home runs, a stolen base, 17 hits, 11 runs scored. So not the worst, but, could be a lot better. And now let's take a look at the prospects they got, which this is a lot better. This is much better than what they got out of Miguel Vargas. Look at Jeral Perez, who may think he is, I believe, 20 years old, or turning 20 this year. So far in the minor leagues, 265 with an 842 OPS, 381 on base. That stands out. Very good. 29 home runs, 113 ribbies, 18 stolen bases, 176 hits. This is in 664 at-bats, so around a full season of playing time from a 19-year-old, 18 and 19-year-old. So he's going to be good. Third baseman. Doesn't weigh that much, so you're surprised to see the power. If he gains a little bit of weight, he'll probably put up some fantastic numbers. Played in 22, played in 23. This year, around an 800 OPS, diminished a little bit, but to be fair, he's an A ball now, and he's only 19, so yeah, not bad. Good little player. And then the other prospect they got, let's see if I can do this one. Alexander Albertus, who is 20 years old, or no, turning 20, on the 7-day injury list. His stats, 303 average, 449 on base, really stands out. Doesn't have a whole ton of pop. Smaller guy, only 176. 864 OPS, 21 stolen bases, 91 ribbies, only 8 homers. 419 at-bats, so this all can improve. This is around 2/3 of a season of playing time. If you scale that up, that's probably 12 home runs, 30 stolen bases, 130 ribbies around there, and around 180-something hits. So he could be a very, very good player, putting up this solid production. He's only done it in like minors and rookie balls, so not sure what you're going to see out of a real professional ball. Yeah, so let's go back. Erick, Fedde, So yeah, if I were to grade this trade, I'd have to say, this is a good trade for all around. I'd have to say that nobody in particular won this trade, because the Cardinals got stuff that they needed. Actually, no, I'd say Cardinals won because they got the best players. And the Dodgers and White Sox also did very good. The White Sox brought in good prospects. They're probably going to ruin them because they're the White Sox. I don't think Miguel Vargas was necessary to go over to Chicago. I feel like that's kind of just screwing him over for the rest of his career. And then the Dodgers got a decent pitcher, and they got a solid utility player that they'll use very well. So overall, I'd say everybody won. I'd say A trade all around, maybe A minus trade all around, because every team got something they needed. And yeah, I feel like the Dodgers, if anything, got the least here. But even then, I'd give them like a B plus, and I'd give the, you know what? I came up with it. Dodgers get a B plus, White Sox get an A minus, and they did give up a lot, but A minus for the White Sox and then an A for the Cardinals. I like this move, and I think the teams who made it and the fan bases will like it too. I know this is kind of a longer video, but there was a lot of players to look at. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next trade video.